Hello, fourth grade ELA teachers. We're trying something new and recording over some of the documents that we've sent out to you for your next writing unit, which is informational writing. So I want to just go through two of the documents that were sent to you in the Pony. And this video will be between 10 and 15 minutes long. So the first document was developed by Sheila Gerhardt, and it's designed to help teachers and students use the features of Word as they are working through a document. So if your students use Word to publish their informational writing, you might want to check out this document on Schoology. You do have a hard copy of it, but there are some videos embedded in this document from Schoology that can be sent out directly to your students. Some of the really neat features in this document are saving them, but really using these text feature components. And it's really nice that we have a screenshot here to show students how to utilize those things as they go ahead to create informational writing pieces that they might want to include headings and subheadings and bold domain-specific vocabulary, bullet some items, etc. So take a look at that document when you have some time. The informational writing unit has gone through some really big changes this year, and so I'll point out some of those features. These bullets in bold are tied directly to your standards. We really want students to understand the facts and details, definitions, and quotes around the information that they're researching. And we want them to pay attention to using text features and understand it's not only used to locate information, but also to help the reader in comprehending the words that are on the page. So pay particular attention to that. One of the very new features of this document begins on page 7, which takes the writing standards and links them with the reading informational standards. We want teachers to understand that what you're doing in the informational read aloud, standards-based read alouds, really link in what we want students to apply in their writing. So specifically here, you can see W for 2D, use precise language and domain-specific vocabulary to inform or explain about the topic. Well, we in reading are using context to understand the meaning of general academic and domain-specific words and phrases. So that's a really important distinction, and we want students to pay attention to how authors make the reader pay attention to those words and phrases, and also as a writer, how are we going to make those words stand out for the reader? So the table of contents starts on page 9. And what we've done this time is we have developed 4 lessons that really front load students with some information prior to them doing their own independent research, which starts on lesson 5. This unit is going to be directly tied to your social studies unit, where the students will choose an explorer to investigate, to research, and to develop an informational piece around that person of their choice. We wanted to make a note about the word essay, as some teachers were concerned it's being used on PARC to prompt students to write, but we don't use it in our curricular documents. So if you just teach students that an essay means that writing that is published and that it is a synonym for, responding to something or developing something, that would be great. We need students to understand that in different contents and different subject areas, we have lots of words that mean the same thing, but unfortunately, different contents use different words to mean, like I said, the same thing. So it's really semantics. So if we can start to make those connections for students, I think that would be really helpful. On page 10, you have a list of different text features. We've created one for the teacher and one for the student, so you can go ahead and copy that if you want or push that out to students through Schoology. We have things broken down to be a little bit more simplistic if you have students that are going to struggle with some of these things. So it's not so overwhelming. We put a couple of important features in a chart there. And for teachers here, it says a look ahead to the final product. So these are really the big ideas of the unit. You can see really what are the big things that you're going to be teaching students how to do. All right, the first lesson is similar to last year, in which we point out the characteristics of informational writing. So we want them to start paying attention to what authors of comprehension informational text do. So we use a lot of articles from the comprehension toolkit. You can make copies of those for the students, a couple of them, and they're basically going to walk around and identify different features and the purposes for those features. Lesson number 2, oh, and we also have a text structure chart. This should be familiar. We've given this out a couple of times this year during PD. Lesson number 2 is really led by the teacher and done as an I do, we do activity. Starts on page 18. And this will be students basically doing a brain dump of facts and details that they're most familiar with around the topic of Native Americans, which is included in your social studies unit. So we've divided this topic of Native Americans into 3 categories or 3 headings: regions, elements of culture, and how they, Native Americans, use their environment. And what students are going to do is give you facts and details that they know about this. And based on the facts and details that they give you and that you prompt them for, you will take the first category about the region. And if students only give you one region, you might write a descriptive type paragraph. But if they give you 2 regions, you might write a compare-contrast type paragraph. So this is starting to introduce students in how to write in different text structures. And this will really depend on what students give you. After you do one as a class, you might want to do a different category, a different heading in small groups. And then the third category could be done individually by individual students. And again, this is pre-teaching some of the information that we want them to be able to do independently when they go ahead and do their research around an explorer. We have the text structure chart here again for you. On page 22, lesson number 3 really looks at using questions to drive research. And we know that good researchers ask questions to dig deeper into the topic that they're trying to find out about. So we use the article, which we used last year from the Comprehension Toolkit, titled At Home in the Arctic. And you can get that from the Comprehension Toolkit source book of short text. And we've kind of structured a graphic organizer and an anchor chart, but students are going to develop these questions with your guidance. So again, this is kind of like a we do activity. So go ahead and take a look at that. And we use the Flower Power SciAp strategy to support this lesson. And you'll see documents in there to support you there. Lesson 4 is new. It's about paraphrasing facts and details from the text. This is a really important skill for students as they move up in the grade levels. We use At Home in the Arctic, again, that article. And the instructions are in the lesson, but I'm going to point you to the teacher and student materials that are on page 30 and 31. So on page 30, we retyped a section of that article. And here's our research question. What are the adaptations or features of a polar bear? And what we want students to do is really underline keywords, phrases, important facts, domain-specific vocabulary. And what they'll do is kind of talk to one another about why they underlined what they underlined, and they may wind up changing their minds. Once they do that and they make their decisions, they're going to bullet some phrases over here on the right. And this is with you, the teacher, modeling this process. Once they bullet their phrases, kind of connecting some of these things together, not writing in sentences, but connecting them, they will come down here with your modeling again and paraphrase what it is that's in that section of the article. Now, the page that follows page 31 is the student page. So you can see there's nothing that's underlined or no steps are put in there. So you could model this with the students. You can have them go and see if they can do it on their own. You could give them a different section of the article to practice this skill. And this will take some time because this is a very hard skill to develop. On page 32, you can see it says stop. So we have just completed the first round of lessons in the unit. And we're, again, pre-teaching some skills as they move forward. The next cycle of lessons will include what you've already taught and now have them doing their research. They're going to learn how to write an introduction, a concluding statement or section, how to use text features, how to group their information using heading and linking words. And like I said, you're going to use the social studies topic on Explorers. So please use your social studies units to access school library databases for their research, to use the links that have been provided for you in your social studies curriculum to do this research. And it will be up to you what type of product the students produce. You can give them a choice, you can leave it open-ended, or you can leave it a very narrow focus. This will be up to the teacher. So once the students decide on their Explorer and the teacher has selected one to model from, you are going to have to take some time teaching them how to collect, organize, and cite research. So we've included a couple of graphic organizers that might work for you and your students. One, you could do a boxes and bullets. So the box would be the fact or the main idea within a category or a question that you're researching, and you have your details. The other way to do this, and we provided 4 questions, 4 different categories for kids to research around, is to use a file folder in either envelopes or library pocket cards. And what students will do is put a Post-it note of the question that they're researching so that all the facts and details they come up with will go inside that envelope or inside that library pocket card on an index card, which you can see a sample below. Kids can put their paraphrase notes here, they can put a direct quote, they can put boxes and bullets, but this is a nice way for them to organize their facts and details around a particular question or a particular category. So that is that lesson that will be modeled. We also have a lesson that is included in our language lessons to teach citing quotations from a text, citing text evidence. Starts on page 56 in that document. In addition, we want you to know that the school librarians, as part of their curriculum, their standards, they do teach students how to create a source list of resources. Please ask your school librarians to help you and to support you with this and see how they are instructing students to do this work. The next page on 38 is a bunch of sentence starters that help students create sentences to lead into that evidence that they're citing. By no means do we expect you to teach all of these. I would suggest that you choose a couple of them, 2 or 3, to teach students how to lead a sentence into citing text evidence. This is a really important skill and a difficult one. The next set of lessons really are very similar to what we've done last year, which is writing introductions. We don't call it leads in informational text, we call it introductions. But please let them know that a lead is just your beginning starting point for a reader. Remember I said that some words are used in different areas? This is semantics. So a lead is your introduction. I'm writing a lead to introduce my topic, to hook my reader. So, keeping in mind with that, paying attention to that, ways to introduce a topic. There are some examples here that you can use and some sample text to model from, mentor text. We also include from the language lessons how to do those evidence-based text evidence quotations, citations. The next lesson has to do with revision, and really your text structure is going to drive the linking words that you use, linking words and phrases. Now, in narrative, we call it transition words. For whatever reason, in informational, we call it linking words and phrases. Again, this is semantics, so please make that distinction for students. You just note that depending on the type of paragraph the students are using will really drive the types of linking words and phrases that they use to connect their sentences and paragraphs. Then we move into lesson 8 on page 48. This is concluding statements. We give you some sentence starters for students to end their piece. This is a difficult skill. From there, we move into the last 2 lessons, which is editing, very similar to in the past, and publishing. So I want to draw your attention to the very end of the unit. We have lots of checklists for students and teachers to use. But the last thing we have in here is on page 62 and 63. And this is a sample scoring tool that you might want to use with your students. Again, these are tied to the standards. So if you have students that are really struggling with some of these skills, please adjust this as necessary for those students. If you have any questions or any needs, please let us know here at the Board of Ed. We are always happy to support you.